Hi everyone, this is Santosh Kumar. Welcome back to our next training. Today we are going to see a couple of examples on how to make a feature-based modeling. So as you can see, I have created a basic feature-based model, and I have used two sketches. So this is the datum. So there will always this sketch will always be dependent on this datum. So I have taken it from the dimensions with respect to this datum. Tomorrow if I move the datum also, this sketch would move along with it. Now another one is I made use of an extrude command, and then I extruded it to 75 mm. And then the other sketch is for creating this cutout. And here this usually they say that you're not supposed to take reference from the solid directly. So what I did is I projected this curve from the solid, and then I took that as a reference and later created the other sketch and for creating the cutout. And sometimes when you say for example I want to create a profile like this, it'll here you can select whether you want it to be single, connected, tangential, feature, curve. Once you select the single, it will allow you to select the single curve, but when it comes to the bigger one, it will try to select the entire line. If you don't want it to select the entire line and only a particular line, here you have another option, stop at intersection. So you check this option, it will only select the portion of the line, and it would neglect the other remaining portion of the line. So that's the use of this tool here. And once you go into the sketcher, as you could see, once I zoom in and zoom out, these dimensions are kind of altering. I want these dimensions to be fixed at a place like this. First you can arrange it like this according to your requirements, so that when people are trying to open your the sketcher, it would look neat. And for fitting this particular sketch to the screen, you need to press Ctrl plus F, so it will fit to the screen, and then you can adjust the dimensions. And here if you go to a right click and go to settings, here you have an option, fix text height on screen. You uncheck this option and then click OK. Now you zoom in and zoom out, this particular dimensions would not change with respect to the screen's zoom in and zoom out. So that's the use of these settings tool. And you have further options over here. So it would create a neat sketch profile. So tomorrow you make a very big sketches, in that time you can make use of this settings. So this would create a very neat dimension, and you can arrange this dimension properly, so that people who are looking at the sketch, it will be easy for them to understand what are the dimensions that you use. And make sure to use all the dimensions that's given in the drawing. Don't try to create a dimension of your own. As much as possible, whatever dimension given in the drawing, try to follow the same dimensions, and create the model. So once this is done, there are still this sketches available here. I don't want those sketches to be visible in my workspace. So what you have to do is select those sketches, Control plus J. Once you select, you will go into the layers. You can push it to a particular layer. By default, format layer settings. Sorry. If you go here, there are set defined default Siemens layers, that is curves, datums, sheets, sketches, and solids. You can push it to the you can push all the sketches to the sketch layer. We'll see what are the layers available. So you see here NX has given a set defined categories under which each curves or solid models should be placed. If you see from layer 1 to 10, it is solid, so you can place all the solids in these layers. And from 11 to 20, it is sheets. So you made use of created any sheets, you can push those sheets into these layers. And if you have created any sketches, you can push the sketches from 21 to 40. So all these layers will be containing sketches. And from 41 to 60, you can push all the curves. If you created any curves, those curves can be pushed into these layers. And you made use of any datums, created any datum planes or like a reference, that time you can push all the datums into from 61 to 80. So these are some of the default settings given by Siemens. So you can push all these corresponding categories into the respective layers. So as of now, we made use of a sketch, so I'll be selecting 21. So I'll be pushing all the sketches, this and this to and the shortcut to go to layers is Control J, and here I'll push it to 21. Okay, so now all these sketches have been moved to 21. Once again, if I go to the layer, you need to press Control plus L, then you go to the layer settings. Here I'll select layers with objects, so it will display only the layers with objects. So I don't want my datum as well as the sketches to be visible, so I will uncheck these two, so that only my solid will be visible here. So both the sketches as well as datum is hidden. So now if you want to fit it to the screen, once again Control plus F, your model get fit to the screen. And the orientation, say for example it's in a random orientation like this, I want to keep it in a isometric view, and the shortcut key for that is you need to press the N key. So once you press the N key, it would orient itself to the isometric view. If you come here, you'll be able to see all the views. So you see there is a trimetric view, you need to select the home button for that. And this is the Control Alt T is for the top view, and isometric is for the end view, end key. You select the end key, it will go into the isometric view. And correspondingly you have the left as well as the plan view or the front view, and the right view, bottom view, and those are the shortcuts. Control Alt O is for the bottom. And make sure that when you're creating these sketches, create the way they're shown it in the drawing. So for example, in my case, this is the front view. Okay, this is the front view. So the sketches whatever they showed, I should make sure that it is getting created in that is shown in the XZ plane. So this XZ plane is my front view. So tomorrow if I press Ctrl Alt F, eventually it will orient to that view, and this would avoid confusion. So if a plan view has been shown in the drawing, make sure to create that particular plan view in the XZ plane. Don't try to create in any other plane and consider this to be the front view. Say for example, don't create in this plane the cross section and say this is the front view. No, because when you pull this model into the drawing environment, you may by default it will consider the XZ plane as the front view. So that's the reason, plan accordingly. So we try to create few more simple examples and then move on to the complex modeling. So whenever you are specifying the references, make sure you use limited references. Say something like this. I'll show in the side. So you're using like this. You just take one as a reference and then start building the profiles against it. So you want to fix this particular length, then you just select that and select the double arrow. This is constant length. Once you give this one, this length will not change, so it will show like the sketch is kind of constrained like that. And right click and change this to convert to reference. So once you convert it to reference, then you can start building with respect to this. You want to make any part and give the angles or do any dimension with reference to this line, you can do it. Select this, Control J. You want to change the color of this part. First select the part, Control J, then color. You can select the colors that you want and you get more variants in the palette. Drop down. So this way you can give color to the part. So if you like this video, hit that like button and share max. Until then, bye. Santosh Kumar signing off.